The Deepwater Horizon was a marvel of engineering. It was a giant oil rig, taller than the Eiffel Tower. It could drill miles below the ocean floor. The rig was built to find and extract oil from deep underwater. It was a symbol of human ingenuity and our thirst for energy. The Deepwater Horizon represented a new era in offshore drilling. It pushed the boundaries of technology. It allowed us to access oil reserves once considered unreachable. However, this technological achievement came with inherent risks. These risks would eventually lead to a catastrophic event. The rig was owned by Transocean, an offshore drilling company. It was leased to BP, one of the world's largest oil companies. BP had high hopes for the Deepwater Horizon. They believed it would unlock vast oil reserves in the Gulf of Mexico. The stage was set for disaster. A combination of human error, technical failures, and corporate negligence would have devastating consequences. April 20th, 2010, started like any other day on the Deepwater Horizon. Workers went about their tasks. The rig hummed with activity, but deep beneath the surface, pressure was building within the well. Warning signs were ignored. Suddenly, a surge of natural gas shot up the wellbore. It ignited on the platform. A series of explosions ripped through the Deepwater Horizon. The rig was engulfed in flames. The disaster had begun. 11 workers lost their lives that day. Their families mourned their loss. The world watched in horror as the burning rig became a symbol of our dependence on fossil fuels. The fire raged for days. Attempts to extinguish it failed. On April 22, 2010, the Deepwater Horizon sank beneath the waves. The well, a mile below the surface, was still spewing oil. The oil gushed into the Gulf of Mexico, an environmental disaster of unprecedented scale. It became the worst oil spill in US history. Millions of barrels of oil polluted the delicate ecosystem. Marine life suffered. Birds were coated in oil, unable to fly. Dolphins and whales struggled to breathe. The oil spread, reaching the shores of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. Beaches were closed. Fishing industries were devastated. The livelihoods of thousands of people were destroyed. The environmental and economic impact was immense. The Deepwater Horizon disaster became a stark reminder of the fragility of our planet. The Deepwater Horizon disaster claimed the lives of 11 workers. Their families were left to grieve. The loss of these lives was a tragedy, a reminder of the human cost of our pursuit of energy. The disaster also had a profound impact on the lives of thousands of people along the Gulf Coast. Fishermen lost their livelihoods. Tourism industries suffered. Coastal communities struggled to cope with the environmental and economic devastation. The oil spill had a ripple effect, impacting families, businesses, and entire communities. The human cost of the Deepwater Horizon disaster went far beyond the initial loss of life. It left an indelible mark on the Gulf Coast. The disaster served as a wake-up call, forcing us to confront the true cost of our dependence on fossil fuels. Section 5. A race against time, response, and cleanup. In the aftermath of the explosion, a massive response effort was launched. The US Coast Guard led the way, working tirelessly to contain the spill and rescue survivors. BP, the company responsible for the disaster, faced immense pressure to stop the flow of oil and clean up the mess. Volunteers from across the country flocked to the Gulf Coast, determined to help. They worked to clean oil-soaked birds and rescue stranded marine life. Engineers worked around the clock to devise solutions to stop the leaking well. The cleanup effort was massive, involving thousands of people and billions of dollars. Skimmers collected oil from the surface. Controlled burns removed vast swathes of oil. Dispersants were used to break down the oil. The response and cleanup effort was a monumental task, a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. Section 6. Justice and accountability. Legal and regulatory fallout. The Deepwater Horizon disaster triggered a wave of lawsuits and investigations. BP faced billions of dollars in fines and settlements. The company's reputation was tarnished. The disaster also led to a major overhaul of safety and environmental regulations for the offshore drilling industry. The US government established a commission to investigate the causes of the disaster. The commission's findings were damning. They revealed a culture of complacency and a disregard for safety within BP and the industry as a whole. The Deepwater Horizon disaster became a watershed moment for the oil industry. It forced companies to confront their practices and prioritize safety and environmental protection. The disaster also highlighted the need for stronger government oversight and regulation of the industry. Section 7: Preventing Future Disasters, Lessons Learned. The Deepwater Horizon disaster was a tragedy that could have been prevented. It taught us valuable lessons about the importance of safety, accountability, and environmental stewardship. The disaster highlighted the need for a fundamental shift in our approach to energy. One of the key lessons learned was the importance of a strong safety culture. The Deepwater Horizon disaster was a result of a series of human errors and technical failures, compounded by a lack of oversight and a culture that prioritized production over safety. Another important lesson was the need for greater accountability. BP, the company responsible for the disaster, was held accountable for its actions. However, the disaster also highlighted the need for stronger government regulation and oversight of the oil and gas industry. Section 8. The legacy of Deepwater Horizon, a stark reminder. The Deepwater Horizon disaster left an indelible mark on the Gulf Coast, the United States, and the world. It served as a stark reminder of the risks associated with our dependence on fossil fuels and the need for a transition to cleaner, more sustainable sources of energy. The disaster also highlighted the interconnectedness of our world. The oil spill had far-reaching consequences, impacting not only the Gulf Coast but also global economies and ecosystems. The legacy of Deepwater Horizon continues to shape our understanding of the environmental and human costs of fossil fuel extraction. The disaster spurred a global movement for change, with people around the world demanding greater accountability from the oil and gas industry and a shift towards renewable energy sources. The Deepwater Horizon disaster, though tragic, served as a catalyst for progress. Section 9: Towards a Safer Future, Embracing Renewable Energy. The Deepwater Horizon disaster underscored the urgent need to transition away from fossil fuels and embrace renewable energy sources. Solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal energy offer cleaner, more sustainable alternatives to oil and gas. Investing in renewable energy technologies is crucial for mitigating the risks of climate change and reducing our dependence on fossil fuels. The transition to a clean energy future will require a concerted effort from governments, businesses, and individuals. We must learn from the mistakes of the past and work towards a future where energy production is safe, sustainable, and equitable. The legacy of Deepwater Horizon should serve as a constant reminder of the importance of this mission. Let us honor the lives lost and the lessons learned by creating a world powered by clean energy. A world where disasters like Deepwater Horizon are consigned to the history books.